myself too.
Whoa. Unique New York. Unique New York. The Human Torch acquired a bank loan today. How now, brown cow? The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Ba 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 ba. That's a nice little McDonald's plug there. Sorry, we are not sponsored by McDonald's, so looks like we got everybody here.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Let me make sure I'm got all my Twitch gizmos and doodads all hooked up and ready to rock and roll here. All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, shooters, for a fantastic Random Jersey Sunday edition of the Shootin' Straight Handball podcast. We are joined by a good comrade of the handball movement here, Chris Licameli. Chris, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Glad to have you on. And as always, joined by my cohort in our fight to support the great sport of handball, Joe Williams. Joey, how we doing?
I'm doing awesome, JD. I'm glad Chris is on to join us. I'm excited to learn about him and learn about how he is, just his life in general. So it's going to be a great conversation.
Good. I like the backwards hat look. It's good vibe. You know, I don't know what you guys had going on this weekend. We had a very busy series of events here in the Orr household. So yeah, you got a holy cow. That's got a lot going on. A lot of lettuce in the bowl
Jimmy
there.
Neutron you going on, so trying to cover that up.
Oh man, Chris. So why don't you give a real quick intro about yourself? You know, a little bit of your sports background and how you found us.
For sure. I live in Columbus now. I work at Integrity Athletics, which is out in Dublin / Plain City. I moved here in October. I guess we'll go backwards. I moved here in October and been here actually coming up on a year in Columbus. Before that, I spent last summer 2019, coaching for Team Canada for their gymnastics team out in the FISU World University Games, which was pretty awesome. I was in Napoli, Italy. That's what that banner is right there.
Look at that nice product placement.
Yes, and there's Team Canada. I do have America right there for.
I got America. We got it. We're covered.
We're covered. Good. And spent so that was pretty much from like May until like August. I was in Canada and in Europe, so that was awesome. And before that, I was spent 3 years as the assistant gymnastics coach at Southeast Missouri State University in good old Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which is halfway between St. Louis and Memphis. And so spent there for 3 years, was recruiting coordinator, went through 3 years of the program. Loved it. I got my master's there in higher education administration with emphasis in sport management. And before that, I graduated from Temple University in Philadelphia in 2016, where I got my bachelor's degree in sport and recreation management. And there I was volunteer assistant coach and director of operations for the women's gymnastics program, and had a lot of other experiences throughout the sports industry in Philadelphia, from Philadelphia Eagles to I worked my junior internship with Temple University Athletics facilities, and then spent with facilities and marketing out in Tennessee. So been all over the place, and currently in Columbus, Ohio.
Woot woot.
Nice.
Awesome.
And I guess how I found you guys sitting at this desk right here. This is my podcast setup. This is my first time on a Twitch stream, and I'm looking at myself right now, and it's terrible lighting in here. I have a ring light, which is in the basement, and I literally could plug it in, and the lighting would be so much better. I'm really kicking myself I didn't get the lighting.
If it's downstairs, Joey and I can cover you. Well, if you want to run down, it's up to you.
I will do that after the intro. It will take me 10 seconds to get it.
I should probably get a ring light too. I mean, my lighting is...
your lighting's better than mine. I haven't had this. I don't know why. I guess I don't have enough white. Usually when I'm up, I've got a bunch of white screens for college football.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of white screens on my big TV in front of me here. So that's probably why this lighting's off. But sitting here, I was looking up for handball a few months ago, probably December 2019. Yeah. And when I was graduated, I forgot to mention, I did spend a month in Rio de Janeiro in 2016 at the Olympics as just a spectator. Me and my buddies, we had planned that trip for about 2.5 years. Originally, we were driving.
Oh my god!
We're going to drive from Philadelphia to Rio, which has been done before. I followed plenty of travelers that do the trip from like the tip of South America all the way up to Alaska and back.
Gosh.
So it's been done plenty of times, but my family thought I was nuts.
How long would that take?
We would have left right after I graduated. So I graduated like May. We would have done the trip over like 2 months.
Oh my gosh.
We would have done 3 months. We would have left the beginning of May and then gotten there for beginning of August.
There's I think there's actually a TV show that what's his face, Obi-Wan Kenobi's doing. Ewan McGregor, he's doing that trek. There's also like a world record that people try and beat, and it's like which we were not obviously. You weren't trying, yeah.
No, but through many family chats, I remember going to talking with my mom's side of my family. They thought I was like. They thought I lost my mind when I said I was going to drive. And every person's like, yeah, we're down. Everyone's down to do it until it's time to like drop some money on some things. And then people stop replying. They start flaking out. Oh, let me ask my mom. Let me ask my dad. And you're 21 years old, 22 years old.
Live your life.
My buddy was like, anyone has to ask their mom and dad, they're out. We're cutting them out. And it dwindled it down pretty fast, and then it ended up being like 3 of us were going to do the drive, and I got offered. My mom said, "I'll pay." I was ready to do it. Like, we had a vehicle and everything. My mom said, "I'll pay for your flights round trip, just so you don't drive."
Wow.
So I couldn't turn it down. Turn it down. So I ended up doing the flight instead. But we went down to Rio and loved it, and I knew I got tickets to handball ahead of time. I went and saw Qatar versus France in a prelims match, which was awesome for handball. Got to see a ton of other sports.
Did you know what it was going in? Like, did you?
Oh yeah, definitely knew. It was the number 1 sport in like my high school for gym class, and I was the goalie for ours, and we played with like the foam dodgeballs. Yeah. So I was all about being the goalie, because if I got beamed, I was totally fine with it. But we had like the lines on like the wall pads. Yep. That was our goals. And I love playing it. And my team every year, I end up getting tossed in the gym class with the star running back and like the 6'11" basketball player. The star, but so we had like all like the star athletes from like basketball, football, baseball, and then it was me, and I was like, I'm the goalie, and we would run it, and we would win like 15 games in a row. And I was like, I can play the sport. I was the like Jay Cutler in like 2010. I was like, I can do this, and so I was always wanted to find a handball club, and when I went to Missouri, first off, I almost took a job in North Carolina, found I think it's the Raleigh has a handball club.
It's
Or is it UNC?
UNC has an alumni team, and then they have the actual school team.
Yeah. Yes, I think the UNC. I was gonna try and hop in there, but I ended up not taking the job. So Missouri, when I was out there, the closest team was St. Louis. Didn't have one. The closest team was Chicago.
Probably. Jeez.
Which was 6 hours. So that wasn't happening. I did get to go to a curling club in St. Louis. St. Louis has a curling club. I got to do some curling, which I really needed to knock off my Olympic sport list.
How was that compared to handball? Because I feel like those are the two
those are the two I went on St. Patty's Day, and me and my buddy went up to St. Louis, and our goal was to like pregame and have some drinks, and like they made it like super clear, like no alcohol, no pre-drinking or anything.
No fun.
I just like wanted to join like it's literally cornhole on ice.
Yeah.
I just like wanted to like have a few drinks before I go to the curling club, and they did not. we went to like the bar for like a couple drinks, but it was to answer the chat. What high school is that? My high school was St. John the Baptist Diocesan High School in West Islip, Long Island, New York.
There you go, Martin. I like this. I like Chris being able to just see the chat and save some of the awkward interruption. That's good.
But yeah, we went to this curling club. It was great. It was after the couple, like they teach you how to do it for like the first like 20 minutes or half hour. And then the second half is you get to play in a match with the people that you're with. And we got to play in a match, and they give you these like things you just toss on the bottom of your shoes. And it's difficult. It is definitely difficult to do. And I thought I was like flicking the wrist and it was spinning, and it's very strategic, I must say. It is literally cornhole on ice and / shuffleboard.
So when I tried to join a curling league here in Columbus, so we did axe throwing, and we were like, hey, our next event's going to be curling. You had to put your security deposit down. You then had to go to like a training session. It was a 3-day training session. You had to make it for all 3 days. Once you completed that training session, you were then eligible to then compete for the fall. So like the training session was in October, and then you would compete then in the following like August or something like that, or September. So like you basically had to like wait 9 months before you actually could start curling. But there was like another like mini series that you had to attend in May that would like confirm you still had your skills from before, and it was like $300 a person. And I was like,
that's absurd.
I would love to curl. I'd love to, just like you said, just check it off the Olympics bucket list, give it a go. But the barriers to entry there, and Columbus has like 3 curling clubs. Is it called
Columbus Curling Club?
Yeah. There's one, it's at Polaris, and there's one in Worthington, and there's another one somewhere else. There's like 3 in Columbus. That's such a yes.
That's such a bad marketing tactic. Like in the sport of gymnastics, you have to do like everything you can. The whole point is everything you can, that the sport is inclusive to everyone and anyone. And that what they're doing, whatever that club is doing, there's such a bad way to try and grow your sport to new people. Like the one in St. Louis Curling Club was great. It was come in, 30 minutes, we'll teach you how to do it. And then 30 minutes, you get to play with like the people you're tossing, which is awesome, which is how it should be to help grow your sport, you know? And then you could join a league. They have leagues you can join, and there's like Saturday leagues. Whoa,
what a coinky dink.
The only thing that would have made that better, Chris, would be if they had like encouraged pre-gaming and like
I don't know about encouraging, but I guess not discouraging
an allowance.
Yeah. You know, or like make a Friday night beer league. Like make Friday night the like curling beer league where you can go, and like that's from 6 to 11 is like the curling beer
disco curling. They turn off the lights. It's like everyone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Come on now. We should be in charge of USA curling.
Oh man. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
So yeah, I was back to, I guess, how I found you guys. I was sitting at this computer. I knew new city. I knew there's had to be some type of handball somewhere. And I just looked up handball in Columbus, found the Columbus Armada, found that OSU has a club. And I just remembered, I just messaged on the Columbus Armada Facebook page, and JD was on the other end. And I had just was about to get membership to the RPAC. My roommate is finishing up his degree here at Ohio State. So I was able to sponsor for that semester and was able to get into OSU practices, and was able to practice maybe 2 or 3 times. And then the global pandemic hit, and that was it. But yeah, it's, and then we tried to get a partner up with for the Integrity Athletics. We just expanded our facility, and our volleyball moved next door. And now we have a full second building warehouse with volleyball. And we were literally going to get the keys to be able to train at Integrity and practice there. And then everything shut down with the pandemic. So
literally like the week before or something like that.
Yes, it was literally as people were starting to hoard toilet paper was when we had this meeting.
Yep. It was very frustrating because I was like, well, this would be perfect for Armada practice. You know, if it's close to my house, it's very close. It's less than 3 miles from my house, so it's pretty nice.
Opportunity's still probably there. We just haven't revisited it yet.
Yep. Oh, I think once things get a little bit more normalized and people are comfortable going inside with contact sports and things like that, we'll get there. So, Joey, you had a question.
Yeah, Chris, I'm just curious, how'd you get into gymnastics originally? It's not one of those sports that many, at least from Detroit, grow up in. Curious what your journey.
Yeah, so I was not a lifelong gymnast at all. I was going to college to play baseball. That was my goal originally. Played baseball for 12 years. And was going to go like D3, maybe 1 or 2 D2s. I was looking at, and in my college recruiting process, I got all these showcases. I was told to get, being a short guy, I was told you got a bit faster and build more body strength. So I just joined the local gymnastics gym and just started doing it and started learning how to flip. And in high school, and they were like, do you want to compete? And I was like, sure. Why not? And I was like 16, 17 years old with like peach fuzz mustache competing against like 12, 13-year-old boys. And was just like the kid that was like, because the age group at that level I was at was like 12 and up. So like I was just competing against like 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds. And I was like that one kid with like, it was like the bench warmers that I am 12. Like that was me. So I did that. And then, I started coaching a little bit with at the local gym, just like rec classes. And then I went out to International Gymnastics Camp, which is a really great camp that teaches you everything from like the ground up if you had never done the sport. So I went there as a camper, and then next year they invited me back, coached there for 3 years, went through their like coaching school, which was pretty rigorous type of like coaching school. You work from like 8 a.m. till 5, and you have to counsel kids, and you live in the cabin with kids for 13 weeks out of the summer. And then from 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night, you're in a classroom, you're watching film, you're going through lectures, and you have exams on Friday. So I went through that for 3 summers. Jeez. And then switched it up to another camp, which was much more relaxed, which is out in Tennessee, did that for 2 summers. And then during the school year, I was coaching boys gymnastics there was a boys junior Olympic program where I coached that my freshman, sophomore, junior year. And then junior year, I joined the women's program and just went through college camps, learned from a lot of top coaches and just networked, and then moved my way up and was able to coach in college. So I loved the college experience, and now I'm back in the girls' JO club developmental side. So it's been a wild ride.
That's
Sounds
awesome.
like it. Yeah.
Awesome. How did you get connected with Team Canada?
So when I was at Southeast, I had recruited a couple international athletes. I had one from New Zealand, I had one from Canada, and another one from Canada that was coming in as I was departing. So I'd recruited 3 internationals. I'd recruited way more than 3, but head coaches at that time that I went through 3 head coaches in 3 years. So at the time that I was there, certain head coaches didn't want to offer scholarships to 2-time Olympians and multiple Olympians, multiple worlds. So it was pulling teeth to try and get some international that I knew would contribute. But I had international from Canada, and essentially World University Games works is as long as you are enrolled full-time or part-time. They change the rules every World University Games, but World University Games is the Olympics for university athletes. Mm-hmm. And essentially it's your, there's World University Games, which is the Olympics. And then there's World University Championships, which is like, there's definitely World University Handball Championships or World University like weightlifting championships, World University Basketball Championships, which is essentially every other year that there's not. So the World University Games happens every 2 years. Every year there's not the games, there's a championship.
Uh-oh. I apologize, folks, for my internet, as is always the problem. Maybe the Roomba is trying to run right now. I find that unlikely. It's 9:22 p.m.
Can you hear me?
Okay, you're back. Sorry about that.
Am I back?
You're back. We're all back. It's my internet.
Cool. What'd you hear up to?
What was the last part? You froze right when you said
World University Games, World University Championships.
You're past that. You're saying like every 2 years. So
so every 2 years there's the games, and then the off year is championships for a lot of sports. And gymnastics doesn't have a championships, but the Canadian that I had on the team, she asked me to be her coach for the games, and had to raise funds through it's called Make a Champ, which is the GoFundMe for athletes and teams, and for a lot of Olympic type sports. They use this site to just raise funds. So I was able to raise some funds. She was able to raise funds as an NCAA athlete, and we were able to go as me, and another NCAA athlete, and then a girl that went to university in Canada. So the 3 of us went, and it was a blast. It was our athlete village was on a cruise ship.
Whoa.
Because originally the games were supposed to be hosted by Rio de Janeiro, but Rio didn't follow through on any of their promises to keep up any of the structures from the Olympics in 2016. So they had to drop the World University Games. So Napoli had to pick it up very last minute. They had to cut some sports from it, and they didn't have enough village space, but it's a huge port in Napoli, a very big port city. So they have a ton of space where they just brought in 2 cruise ships, and that was part of the village. There's 3 village locations, 2 cruise ships that were separate, and then on the same dock. And then there was one that was by the hotels that was by water polo and stuff. Yeah. We're up there, but cruise ships was awesome. All the sport of gymnastics was all on the same cruise ship, men's, women's, and then every country. Ours had a track. There's a track on the upper deck. I have a full vlog series that I am producing right now, and I've produced everything on my YouTube from
Joey likes
going
vlogs.
from leaving Canada all the way to the next one that's about to be produced is the actual team competition. So everything leading up was a week worth of practices, and it was pretty cool. The ship was awesome. It had a workout gym inside. On the deck they had row machines, weight racks. It was pretty sweet. And the city of Napoli is very I grew up in New York, not New York City, but in New York, and it's not the cleanest city.
Okay.
It's very still mafia ridden. mafia runs, the dumps, the like sanitation, everything, just like it did in New York City in like the 70s, 80s. So it's the same thing that's still happening in Napoli. So there's a lot of trash everywhere, I must say.
Okay.
But
noted.
Very good pizza. Very good pizza, I must say.
That's all that matters.
And then I got to hop around Europe. After Napoli, I went to Amsterdam, Manchester, London, Paris. So,
boy, quick question. I'm trying to take notes. What was the fundraising campaign that was called?
Oh yeah, it's called makeachamp.com.
I'm gonna see if that applies to handball. Obviously,
yeah, they host a lot of a lot of Olympic sport athletes and teams, and essentially just like exactly what a GoFundMe is, and just the easy way to be able to raise funds.
Okay, cool.
On like the athletic side.
Martin wants to know if you heard any mention of Maradona in Napoli.
Diego Maradona, is that who we're talking about?
Yeah.
Isn't he a soccer player from Brazil?
No, he's Argentine.
I'm Argentinian, so I was a little offended by that. Yeah, good.
Sorry.
For Napoli.
What's the stadium? I'm getting the stadium mixed up. Macará. What's the stadium in Rio?
Yeah, and then there's the one in Argentina, which I don't know the name.
Gotcha. No, not much of
Hand of God.
Diego Maradona.
Okay.
Damn shame. That is a damn
Sorry.
shame. So forgive you. I'm curious, Chris, is there like a professional gymnastics circuit in Europe? Or is it mainly your sport?
There is no real circuit. The closest that they had was actually in the US. It was called the Professional Gymnastics Challenge, and it was on ESPN twice. They only had 2 showings of it, and then they never did it again. The camp that I worked for, the International Gymnastics Camp, they tried to create this league or this series where retired gymnastics athletes or gymnastics athletes that aren't Olympians or after the Olympics, they can continue their sport or they can build up to the Olympics. And it was more of a skills challenge. It was skill versus skill. It was rope climbs and biggest skills. They only did it in Pennsylvania twice. The second one was on ESPN, and they never got legs and never picked up any steam really. So, but other than that, there's not really a league or anything. It's more of cups that you go to. There's one in Italy. It's a big Jessalo Cup, which is you compete for your country and you just get assigned a cup series, and you just go there and you compete and you come back.
So people aren't necessarily making a living doing gymnastics.
No, it's not really. There's not a lot. At Integrity, we actually have 3 or 4 guys that are training on national team. They're not with Integrity. They use our facility. Since OSU isn't allowed, their men's team isn't really allowed to train. They send Rustam, the head coach of the men's team. He comes in. They bring 4 guys, and they're just national team. They get a stipend from national team, but it's definitely not enough to go long term with it. Really, it's tough. So
I can relate to that.
Yeah,
handballers can relate to that. At least in America. In Europe, it's a professional sport, but
oh yeah,
far from it here.
Yeah, I do want to shout out on Twitter the who's the guy competes for USA with the dreads, and he was on Kareem Hunt's Instagram recently, months ago.
What?
I told you, JD, he was on. You mentioned
it.
It was NBA. Yeah, it had to be
yes.
NBA. Yeah.
The what is it? The Handball Ninja.
Yes.
Yes. He liked the tweet. The guy's a legend. He's the only professional handball player I know.
That's sick.
NBA is he's a man that's really taken his presence and just put it out there, and he performs. I mean, he's a very good athlete.
He's on both sides, right? Beach and indoor.
He has
I think
kind of
what's
shifted to only beach now.
Gotcha.
Just because he can really dominate there. And you know, he's going to be competing in the the World Beach Games in or is it just it's the World Beach Games in Birmingham, Alabama in 2022. So
But would he cross over to the national team for the Olympics?
If we got a bid to the
LA?
Olympics next year, I think he would definitely. I don't know. I'm just assuming because he's. I bet he would. You don't think so, JD?
I don't know. It's tough. I don't think he. I don't know. I don't know that that's what he wants. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about that specifically. I don't know if he's still trying to be on the indoor side. I think that he has this niche with beach, and he really likes that a lot. And in all honesty, they're like making a huge campaign to have beach at the Paris Games as official Olympic sport. So I think his money is, keep pushing.
He's trying to
beach
gamble on getting it added as
LA
sport in Paris.
Well, yeah, and LA. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's again, that's not a beach is not. I don't know if it's professionalized in Europe. I feel like it's not, but could be wrong.
In the chat, they corrected us with World Games, not World Beach Games, and the World Games is like all the sports that come together that aren't Olympic sports.
Interesting.
So they come together. If you're not an Olympic sport, they have this other like event. It's called the World Games, and they come together to essentially like, if you're left out of the Olympics, your sport, you go to the World Games.
The NIT of the Olympics.
Yes, pretty much.
Excellent. Thank you, Mishi, our top shooter.
Is he our fact checker?
Mishi is our probably one of our more dedicated listeners. She's always making sure we're shooting straight here. So that's what we have Mishi for. She does a great job with that. As you can see by her Twitch badge, she's number one.
I don't shoot straight when I play handball.
This is very true.
At all. We got back into some training this past 2 weeks. JD's in on goal. I don't shoot straight.
It's terrifying. He doesn't know where it's going. I don't know where it's going. For you guys,
I tried to get. I got back into it, and I hadn't thrown a handball in 7 months.
7 months, yeah.
And I started throwing it like a football, and my shoulder was just killing me. I had shoulder surgery back in like 2013, 2014. So sometimes it flares up, but I try to throw like a football, and that just doesn't work. So, and then I turn it into like the long toss. So I'm like back here, and I'm just slingshotting it.
And it's, and it's one of those things that, we're all there having a good time. I don't want Chris to get hurt, and he can sling it. I mean, it's not a slow shot whatsoever. The problem is that his control is, he doesn't know where it's going. I don't know where it's going. He can do some cool little tricks with it, because when he goes to cock it back, he might switch.
Once you get a few shots on like the goalie, they're like thinking it's coming every time, and they don't know, and then you like duke them out with a trick shot.
Yep. So I'm not against it. So we'll see when we get a real game how that
this Thursday.
Plays out. Yeah, this Thursday exactly. So
last week I got to put it in front of actual defenders.
Yep, we're just easing.
2 weeks
right
ago there was no defenders.
Yep. So yeah, Thursday we have Columbus Armada taking on the Dublin Drunks. So it'll be hopefully an interesting battle. All outdoors, trying to make sure all people that are COVID concerned can compete in a safe environment.
Heard you guys, like, as a warm-up, are going to, like, cough on each other's faces? Is that true?
I actually will be licking all of my opponents.
Wow.
Yep. Get real intimate. But yeah, so I think things are looking pretty well. We had a decent showing at the last Drunks practice, which, again, if anybody in the chat has some good points.
Nishi, I appreciate it. She likes my slingshot.
Yeah.
And it does turn into a softball pitch sometimes.
Yeah.
It's almost like a skip, like a bounce shot bowling. Sometimes it goes. I just need some more. Also, we all need to get on JD. He needs to put air in his handballs because by the time I get to an actual game, I'm gonna not know how to I'm not gonna be able to hold the ball or catch the ball. I feel it's gonna feel so different.
It definitely will be a bit of a transition.
Like I'm able to catch these balls like one-handed and just squeeze it because there's no air. I feel like I'm going to try and do that when it's going to feel like I'm playing with a soccer ball.
I'm just preparing you for life with Stickum. That's what it's all about, when we get to that point. So, the underhand shot, one of our guys at Ohio State, that was his signature move, is that he would basically always score on fast breaks and breakthroughs because he's a smaller, quicker guy. And he'd come up here like this, make a move, and then just finish underhand. And he'd do a lot of between the legs and a lot of style points. So it's got some value there if used correctly. As long as it makes it in the goal, that's what counts.
I do want to shout out back to rewind when I first heard about handball, like way back. I know we got like 2 minutes left before we're cut out, I think. But way back when I was growing up, I had a family friend, Joe Fitzgerald, 1996 USA Olympic handball team member.
I forgot about this part of the story, yes.
And growing up, I'd always hear Father Joe, he's a priest now, but Father Joe played handball at the 96 Olympics in Atlanta. And that was how I first ever heard about handball. And I've always ever wanted to play growing up when I heard about it. And there's not a lot of handball going on, but he scored like, where is it? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. He scored like 12, 13 goals in the 96 Olympics. And his brother, who's his brother? His brother's
Tom
Fitzgerald.
Yep.
Is a also Olympic handball guy. So, but yeah, now he's a priest in New York.
Yeah, Father Joe.
Yes, Father Joe.
Yeah, Tom, his brother is very much still involved with USA Team Handball. He's on the nominating and governance committee, which I think his seat is up soon.
I didn't get that. Could you try?
Sorry,
Siri thought I was talking. A long paragraph about Father Joe and handball in my watch.
That's hilarious. Oh, thank you, Siri.
Now she thinks I'm talking to her again.
Sorry, we won't say her name anymore. I think this is a good spot for an intermission, so I'm going to end the Zoom and have you guys jump right back on. Sound good?
Cool.
All right. So far, so good, folks. I apologize for not having Chris's information on my intermission slide. OBS is being a real pain right now. I don't know what it is. It's basically like when I go to my intermission scene, it completely faults out and starts glitching, and it rearranges my whole layout. And then I can't change any other scenes. Can't change any other parameters. So I said, screw it. We're just gonna keep the only 2 slides I know work, and that will not crash on me. So we're gonna keep this show rolling. All right. So I'm sorry that we don't have anything cool to look at while I wait for Joey and Chris to rejoin our Zoom. But yeah, if you guys got any good questions for Chris, sling them into the chat. We've got a decent number of viewers right now, so thanks everybody for tuning in so far. As always, we'd like to give a shout out to some of the people that helped make this possible. Well, not this in particular, but just, handball and in our area. We got obviously KT Tape, Theramu, and hoping to get handballshop.com on there, but they haven't responded to any of my email requests about having some discount codes for people who are looking to buy handball. So maybe one day we'll get that Mishi 10 for 10% off, or Mishi 20 for the 20% off your latest handball purchase. But we are going to get released on Spotify, Chris. Also, Chris, get back on the show. Get back on the Zoom, Chris. I'm still waiting for him. Is there a... What is he talking about? Sorry, folks. No, just rejoin the same Zoom link I sent you. Trying to fill time with my voice.
Let's ask him some really like hard questions when he gets back on, JD. Let's really just grill him.
Yeah, like
how much do you make every year before taxes?
What was your grandmother's maiden name? That's the kind of stuff people don't know. Funny story about that, actually. Okay, you guys switch spots. I gotta do some rearranging here. I hate this.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I was sitting here. Hold on. I turned the audio on, and I've been listening to you guys saying you're gonna grill me some nice hard questions.
Oh, dang it! He was prepared.
I was sitting here just waiting. I was like, all right, I guess a new link will be coming in for a new meeting. So just sitting here listening to JD talk.
Nope. Yeah.
Oh, my mom's listening now.
Oh, that's good. Shout out Mrs. Licameli for the plane tickets. That was a clutch mom move right there.
He did not have ownership of the car he planned to take to Rio. We did have a backup car.
He was taking a stolen car to Rio? Is that what you're saying?
Akon style.
The Jeep that I wanted to take was technically not in my name yet. So it was technically there under their insurance at the time. But my buddy wanted to take like a really rundown like Ford Expedition. That probably would have just made it like across the Mexican border, and that was it.
That's not a place where you want your car to break down either.
Yeah, but you probably could have sold it for a lot of pesos.
Yeah. Oh, and our goal was we were going to sell the vehicle in Rio and fly back.
Okay.
And we did a ton of research on like this. You could sell like your vehicle for like 4 times it was like 2 or 3 times the amount what it was worth in the US. It was multiple people had done it in the past of they drive and then sell and then fly back, and they had gotten way more. So many forums on this, like South American.
You've done a lot of research on it. It's good to know. It's good.
Oh yeah, she knew it was going to go down too.
So we were talking about asking you hard questions, and I was like, oh, well, we should ask Chris what his grandmother's maiden name is. Don't answer that yet. There's a funny story about that. I think it was. You know what, Joe? You weren't on that trip. It was. I think one of the junior. It might had to have been the Emerging Nations tournament. And there.
Yes, I was not on that. Thank you for reminding.
I'm just wanting to make sure you remember that. Yeah,
I remember now. Thank you.
I knew it. I'm just saying that the people involved. It was either you or me, and I'm thinking neither one of us were there, which I'm trying to then put together the tournaments we were not involved with. So Abu gets like flagged at customs, typical Abu, and they're sitting there asking him,
"What country is this?"
They were in Israel, so they were like stopping. I think they had a connecting flight in Jerusalem or something.
And
like
Abu's a national team player.
Yes,
he's like half French, half.
Yep. And they asked him like, you know, what his mother's name was, what his father's name was, what his grandfather's name was, and he's like, I don't effing know. He's from Nigeria or something. I don't even know where he's from. And they're like, all right, you're coming with us. And so
they took him.
They took him. Yeah.
What? Did they have the answer to those questions? Like, how are they supposed to know?
Exactly. Like, he's like, know. You know, it's on your paper. Like, oh my gosh. So I just was when I said that, I was like, oh, I forgot about Abu. Oh, that's great. But
I do know both of my grandmother's maiden names.
Okay, good. We won't quiz you on that. That's a security question. So
they're pretty
standard
more
Italian.
Popular than my actual last name, Stella and Collins. So.
Oh, okay.
Those have been both way more generic than.
Yeah, Licameli. Okay.
Than mine, yeah.
But Nico, I think, was then detained as well. He they interrogated him like for 4 hours, like to the point where they almost missed the connecting flight. So yeah, don't mess with people at Jerusalem airport.
In Jerusalem?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think
You know what would have been a
Michi
good time during the break for me to go run and get my ring light?
Oh dang!
I don't know why. I just remembered it now, just looking at myself. That'd have been a great excuse as to why I was
what
taking
you were
forever
doing.
too.
Yeah, it's okay.
I was sitting here just listening to JD.
You know, what was it, 2 weeks ago? We had a guy on from Pittsburgh, and his camera was upside down the whole time. So
No.
we didn't tell him. I just manually flipped it and we went on with life.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but yeah, you're fine. I think Michi's got a question for you. She wants to know if you're going to add some gymnastics practice to the Armada practices, and she remembers having dedicated gymnastics sessions with the regional selection teams in Germany. So,
Like in handball?
yeah, because I honestly, that's a good point, Michi. I think the position that you are likely going to play, which is left wing, I think having a gymnastics and more like a tumbling background could really help. In all seriousness, could help our wings out. We're not going to do that on concrete. I think we probably want to do that maybe in the start of the grass.
Yeah.
But I'll show you kind of what a proper wing diving shot would look like, and it leads to a kind of backward somersault thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think a lot of tumbling could help a lot. In all seriousness, I think that's a good. Thank you, Michi. I'm writing that down. So. Good.
Yeah, I think just body awareness probably is a big, and knowing how to, in the sport, you learn how to fall properly.
Yes.
Which is just for a gymnast, it just becomes second hand.
Yeah.
It's just, you're taught how to roll out of things and skills much safer than just falling. But sometimes gymnasts are much other hand. The other side, some people say, when certain gymnasts fall, and they try to stay as tight as possible. Your entire life, you're taught to just, in the sport of gymnastics, to be tight.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody in the sport does fall and they don't brace themselves for the fall, they stay tight, your muscles tear, your limbs break, your bones break so much easier when everything's very tight.
Yeah.
Whereas if Joe Schmo were to just fall off the swing set, because their body is just falling looser, But if the gymnasts were to fall and they fall tight, they're just easier to break things when your body's tight.
Fun story about that. So in high school, and I fact checked this, so feel free to fact check me again. But we learned about just same kind of thing, body, situation with the muscles and things like that, and basically exactly what you described, and how this lady, she was in Oklahoma or Kansas or somewhere in tornado country. She's sitting in her living room, and the tornado comes, and the lamp comes with all the wind bursts. Lamp comes through another part of the room, knocks her out cold. Okay, tornado rips her house up. She gets thrown out of her house, lands a mile and a half from her house, gets up, walks home. And this is a 60 or 70-year-old woman. So I think there's some truth to that, and a relax your body sense. But I'm not saying that people should try to go jumping in tornado and
I wouldn't say
fly a
that.
mile. I'm just saying
knock
crazy
yourself
things.
out first.
Yeah. Make sure you don't actually experience the tornado. Oh, geez, Louise. Avoid tornadoes, folks. I'm a storm chaser. My dad's weatherman, so I really get into just going out and watching storms. And people are like, "JD, you gotta come in." I don't know. It's that whole Midwestern dad thing that you just go out on the porch when the storm rolls in. And you're just yeah, look at that. Ain't she a beaut? And so I'm all about that. But let's avoid tornadoes.
Did you ever try and chase storms?
There's no. All right, there's a whole nother debate here in our household. I grew up in Columbus. It's one of those things that I'm tornadoes only happen in Oklahoma and all this other stuff. And then I remember I talked to my parents, and they're all the tornadoes of 1974, those were the worst tornadoes we ever saw. And I'm thinking here, okay, I'm safe. As a kid, I'm like, there's no tornadoes here in Columbus. Like, there's only one tornado in Ohio, and it was back in the day. And granted, this was like pre-internet, so I never actually like looked into it. But I just lived my whole life assuming that there's really only that one tornado from like the 70s. Well, then like since I've been with my wife up near her neck of the woods in Northwest Ohio, they had like a tornado come through and just knock out an entire city, town, whatever, village, whatever you want to call it. And then Dayton got hit real hard. Was it last year, I think? Like to the point where it like knocked out half of Dayton, or people are still recovering from it now. So I'm like, okay, Ohio tornadoes, pretty legit. Not gonna, sorry, Mr. Tornado, Mrs. Tornado. I'm not trying to hate on your parade, but stay away, please. But yeah, if that opportunity comes, I'm definitely like gonna go give it a check out, and then I'm gonna drive really fast away, as dangerously as possible. Anyways, sorry, I digress. Yeah, so
And that was the tornado segment of the podcast.
yeah,
We're handball and tornado podcast. We're just big on tornadoes.
yeah, we're goodness gracious.
I don't know if you've ever seen this, but which I thought was one of the most greatest plays on Play on Words was Barstool Sports two years ago and a year ago. They do during March Madness, they do storm chasing.
Yeah.
Like, leading up to March, and Caleb and Roan, they would go, like, their goal was to go all throughout like February until they went to until they stormed the court at a basketball game, college basketball game. And their first year, it took them like 3 or 4 games, and then their goal was to do it back to back. And they did it again. They got dragged out by the police.
Yeah.
Amazing series. Amazing series.
Hilarious.
And they were like
Hilarious.
dressed up in like
Yes, in the
big
yellow, and they stick out like sore thumbs. You could spot them from miles away.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most ingenious like sport. Oh, that's a dream. That's a dream.
We gotta get brainstorming, because
Like if I had all the money in the world, I would just do that. I would just create a video series on like stuff like that, just like sport, vlog content, travel content.
I think it's very doable. I think Joey and I want to go inside the head of Sanda Sagerson, who's the top left back for Norway, as hopefully Team USA is going to compete against them in the upcoming World Championship. So there's a big article about how to he doesn't think on the court. So Joey's big scheme is we're going to send him a bunch of Sudoku puzzles and riddles, and he'll just be constantly thinking during the game like, man, that guy sent me this riddle, I just can't figure it out.
He's going to be so pensive, he'll have no idea what to do with himself. And he's one of the best players in the world, so that'll be like our way of like
he doesn't think on the court. Is that what you said?
Yeah. There's a big long article about it. Like they put like Google glasses on him, and he
What do you mean he doesn't think on the? Can you like elaborate what that means?
It's just like, general instincts, just boom. He just makes decisions, and he
just becomes like a robot
doing. Yes.
He doesn't remember.
So your goal would be to make him think while he's on the court.
Bingo.
Make him know exactly where he is and like never forget it. So like somewhat traumatize him as he's playing a game so that he doesn't play well.
And you think Sudoku puzzles are the route for it?
I think very hard when I do Sudoku puzzles. So,
but is he going to be like? Is the goal for him to like be doing the Sudoku puzzle like in warm-ups, or like?
I'm thinking of holding up a big sign.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was thinking. Good. I was like,
I can see where this is going.
Like the football sideline signs,
Do they have? Do fans hold signs at handball games?
Absolutely not. Like, nope. So we were coming in with like obvious, like we are the Americans.
Would they just confiscate them at the door?
I don't think they would have the cojones to come up to me.
Yeah. I think you could even like do the old stuff it down the sleeve in multiple pieces, and then we like reattach
and then piece it together,
like perforate it. So it's just you just walk in with this big long like stick arm.
If you're gonna do that, then you could go even deeper into this guy's psyche.
Oh, for sure.
Getting something that'll make him think.
Yeah. So we gotta do a little research.
Does he have an Instagram?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, you betcha.
Yep.
What's his oldest photo?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I
You gotta
like
go
where
find his
you're going.
oldest photos, find like a list of his ex-girlfriends, and blow up the photo of his ex-girlfriend, and just make face
Yeah.
cutouts of like his ex-girlfriends.
Oh my gosh, giant fat heads of all of them. We
Yeah,
just pass them around
stuff
the
like
stadium.
that. Where you'd be so confused,
Be
just
like, hey,
behind the goal,
Sonda.
and then
What are
you
you
find their
doing in
names and chant their
January this
names.
Yeah, Chris, you want to go to Egypt? You want to go to Cairo?
I'm down as long as what's the date of this?
All month.
Yeah.
Just block out the entire
Yeah,
month.
just come
Well,
to Cairo.
I've done it before. I've done it. I've done it to go to Napoli and to Rio.
Okay.
So what's the what year? What month?
Hey, if your mom's
This
on the
upcoming
chat, will she
January.
let you drive to Egypt with us? Like, can we make that a thing? Like, somehow figure out a route.
Take a ferry or the Bering
You
Strait.
can. We
you
can
know?
ship a van. You can ship a van across the ocean and just drive that.
Drive through the Sahara. That'd be great. Like
What
land in
an
Senegal.
experience.
I'm following YouTubers that were doing it just before the pandemic. They got stuck in Morocco. They had to leave their van in Morocco.
Jeez. That's wild. That's wild.
What is wait? What? When is this championship supposed to be though?
This January.
January 21. That's a little
Give or
close.
take.
It is very
Little
close.
close.
Very close. But yeah, something to consider. I like where this is going. I'm gonna put this down. I forgot to write down ex-girlfriend.
Cut down. Scroll back through
Yep.
his Instagram.
Okay. Good.
Depends
Good.
how good of his like social media managers are. They may have had him archive some old ones, but you never know being overseas.
I think like you'll come to find like the handball guys are pretty just like down to earth dudes. It's very like I met Kim Anderson. He's a Swedish Olympic silver medalist, and we play against his team, and I went up and just said hi to him. He was just real cool, like real laid back. Not like it's very different in Europe. Like you know how in the U.S. game there's security all the time. There's always cops. There's always this, that, and the other. You can't get anywhere near the players.
Yeah, it's.
There,
I feel like it's
you
similar
can go
to like
give him
their,
a high five, give him shake his hand, have a conversation, get a coffee. Like it's like it's totally different.
Yeah, I feel like it's similar to the basketball leagues over there too.
Mhm.
Like, did you ever? I watched when what was the name? It was a Facebook show. For the big baller brand, the Facebook show.
Oh yeah.
And I've followed like LaMelo Ball and like Jello and all those and the brothers. They played in Lithuania,
Mm-hmm.
and then LeVar became like crazy basketball dad. Very sick.
Oh, we lost Chris. Dang internet! I'm telling you, this internet, killing me. I wonder what this sounds like if this is still recording, like in the playback. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. It's my internet again. We all back? It looks like we're back. Chris, test. Do re.
What's
mi,
the name
fa,
of this
sol.
top
like,
handball guy?
Barry Sanders, but then Sagosen, like
Can you spell it?
Sagosen. Yeah, I'm looking back, and all his ex-girlfriends are very pretty. So I don't know how good.
That's
that
okay.
would,
But you don't know how it ended.
Yeah,
Like they could have broken his heart.
she could have cheated on him. Yep.
They could be. They could still be. Looks don't matter. It's that relationship likely has ended,
Mhm.
and just to get in his head, it'll make him think about stuff that went down. How do you spell it? SAG.
First name
S-E-N.
Sander, last name Sagason.
No way I get this. Oh, Sonder.
Yep.
That's like. You guys ever watch Real Bros of Simi Valley?
I wanted to get into it, but I haven't.
Definitely watch it. The main character's name is Xander,
Zan.
but with an X.
Yes,
His real name's Alexander.
goes
But
by.
he goes by Zonder,
Man, our
and then
internet is trash
he gets
right now.
his shortened to Xan, like Xanax.
Ah, yeah, good.
Very funny show.
That's what I've been hearing.
It's got a lot of pics. Oh, with the filters and everything. When you used to
I
put
remember
filters on your.
2013, right? Yeah, geez,
Oh, he's definitely got some ex-girlfriends on here. Plenty.
For being one of the best players in the world, I mean,
You gotta
I feel like
teach
my
him a thing or
Instagram
two.
game's a little stronger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like where we're going with all of this. This is good. Because I was going to ask Joey, do you think Morton? He's bagged a few mares in his time. Does he have any? Okay. Cut. I didn't say anything.
So I'm curious about your experience with handball and Rio, Chris.
Audio's cutting in and out. I just hear JD saying cut.
That's my internet failing us again.
Eddie, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. My
I can hear you.
It's just bad.
Sweet. Well, I'm curious, Chris. Like, what was it like seeing an Olympic handball game?
Oh, I do have. Oh, I have a vlog about it too that I made. I vlogged my entire Rio series and everything. I sat behind the goal and I just refreshed the Twitch, so I'm making sure it's muted. It's muted. But I sat behind the goal for the game and it just moved fast, way faster than high school handball, I must say.
Okay.
And because that's all I'd really experienced, and not knowing like more than just like New York high school like gym class rules, the bounce 3 and 3 steps, that was it, and just don't go in the crease. That was all we were told. That was it.
Well, there's not much else to it.
So
I it was just fast, and it was I think it was a very high scoring game from what I can remember. I have a picture of it in my phone of what the score was on the scoreboard. But yeah, I'm not much else than like, I feel like if I watched it now, I'd have much more like a deeper appreciation for it. I just knew I wanted to experience it. And I remember texting my buddy Blaze and being like, dude, like, let's join handball club. I think I have text message. Let's join handball club, and like we could just make the Olympic team in like 2020.
Hell yeah.
That's what I told him. I was like, let's do
where
it.
is Blaze now? Where is
Why
Blaze?
not? Why not?
And I literally told him, I was like, I'm gonna find a handball club, and that's where I started looking up the handball clubs in Raleigh or in Raleigh area, and then Missouri, and then here. That was literally why.
And
I was
here
like,
you
all
are.
right, going places.
Oh, jeez.
Blaze,
Yeah, where's Blaze?
where's he at?
Yes.
I think that's
Sorry,
what
you cut out.
Man, my
You're
Zoom,
cutting out.
It's. I don't know why my internet goes from like 5
Yes,
bars
so what's
to
Blaze
1
up?
bar.
These days. Is he,
He's in Orlando. He's one of the if you ever go to Disney Animal Kingdom and you go to the
Apologize, folks, for our technical difficulties hard tonight. Not really sure why, but we are facing
the guys that we went to Temple together. He's a gymnast at Temple, and he's. I think I sent him. I did send him the link to the show. Blaze, comment in the chat if you're watching. I bet you're not watching though.
Darn it, Blaze.
It's okay, Blaze.
If you have been watching $1,000, so that's
Oh, he lost it.
Whoa.
He lost it. Here.
I lost connection with you guys. I don't know what the
How does that
hell's going
work? Are we live in the show?
I don't know. Are you
Or is it just you and I having a conversation?
It's
I'm
just-
enjoying having a conversation.
on. Oh my gosh. This is bad. This is bad. All bad. All bad, folks. All bad things. Oh my gosh. You know, if anybody wants to put in a good word with Spectrum to tell them to frickin' boost their internet situation here, that would be much appreciated, because Spectrum is awful. I just want to clarify that.
Use your hotspot.
I tried that the last time, remember? And my dude.
Are we on Twitch?
Yeah,
If
we're
we
still
are, then
we're still
hi,
live.
everyone.
I
JD
don't
back?
know why. I don't know what the heck's going on. Like my internet is being cotton-headed ninny muggins right now. So
JD.
can you guys not hear me? Son of a gun. This is unprofessional and unacceptable. This is very frustrating here, folks. Our Zoom is cutting in and out hard. Not really sure why we're facing all these technical difficulties. One day, we'll have an actual studio set up and we can actually do something nice. And I don't know what just happened with Chris. He's talking.
These things are amazing. You could change the.
Okay. As you can see, Chris is now taking this time to go get his ring light, and it's a lot crisper. Not sure if they can hear me at all, but they're frozen, and Joey is frozen in quite the face there. That's great.
Do you have your own podcast as well?
God bless America. This is bad. 15th time's the charm. We're gonna have no viewers. Okay, this looks good. This looks good. I think this looks promising. Okay, we are back. Chris has his video. We got lights. We got motion. We got music. We got everything. We're back. Goodness gracious, folks. Thanks for sticking around, because I hate the internet. Okay. Oh, don't lose me.
I love the internet.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. We're all back. Let's back it up 5 steps. Chris got his light.
Are we back on Twitch?
We should be. I never stopped. You can't stop believing, so.
My live feed does not show any Twitch, but
Are still recording, so either way,
okay.
it'll still make it to Spotify. This is what real people tell me they like about our show. Is it's good, like, just nonsense talk that they listen to at work. So, I'm really here to help. Oh, don't tell me we're losing them again.
So, what was your last question? You asked.
Your podcast.
I have one. The authenticity of the internet, the authenticity of the podcast, where you just get the real. There's no. We're just shooting it straight, with the internet, without the internet.
Yeah, we're trying, folks. We are really trying here. Patience is low. Patience is very low. I am about to flip this table. Yeah, for those of you who've been to my basement, it's dangerous.
Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
The two of them can
BD,
communicate.
can you hear me?
We can't. I can hear you guys.
Sorry about this.
You're good. Been there. At least it's recording. I find it really tough when I do a whole podcast and then you lose all the audio. I've done that before.
That would be bad. That would be bad.
Have you done that yet in a show?
No, we do it live. We're always live. Oh, we did have the one time where my mic was muted for like half the show, so that was bad.
Mine was like I always record with like a backup because I've had audio just go.
Okay, that's not a bad idea.
Oh, I got a commercial now. I won't say, but it is a fast food restaurant.
Okay.
Not sponsored. Same one as before that was previously mentioned.
Don't give them any. Don't give them any. They've got to pay for a reference on.
Yeah, it's true. Okay? We're big dollar enterprise.
We're back up on Twitch.
Okay, praise the Lord.
Oh, this lighting is fantastic.
Yeah, it's like completely changes. I like really think I need lighting now. Like you're gonna make me go buy a ring
light. Get an answer about the podcast. So I've got Sander Sagosin still on my feed, and I don't want to see this Sander from like 2010.
Little baby face Sander. Sheesh.
So my podcast that I have is the Nest CFB, the Nest College Football Podcast, which is the Nest is based off Temple Owls, and they're a bird, and the Southeast Missouri State Redhawks, they're a bird. And that's where I got both my degrees from.
Boom.
That's where we cover Temple football. Now, first off, we cover national, like all college football FBS, and then cover Temple football, and then some FC, not really FCS, Southeast Missouri State football. And I hosted my buddy Tony. Tony has went to Southeast Missouri State, got 2 degrees from there too. So he's out in Southeast, and we do this over. We've done it over. How did we do it previously? I can't remember. I haven't done a show in forever. We did it once or twice over Zoom, but before like everyone started doing Zoom, we would do it over. I think I just had him on speaker.
Dang.
Yeah, I had him on speaker with my setup. But yeah, we did all last season, which was great. We're about to kick it off again next week. Next Sunday, we're recording. New episode will drop for season 2 of The Nest. And as Temple football kicks off October 11th.
Yes, football.
Yes.
Good. Well, we'll make sure to give you a plug for The Nest on all our social media posts coming up here.
And then it's only as 1 episode, and it's kind of more of like.
God bless. This internet.
It's called Ventures Pod.
I think we're going to title this episode just "Internet Sucks in Columbus." I think that's the moral of the story.
Podcast, and it's just more of a.
Come on, man. Goodness. We're gonna start over. We're gonna start over. I'm gonna end this meeting. We're gonna start a new one. Oh man, alive. Folks, I thank you for your patience. This is unprecedented waters. I don't think we've ever had this many technical difficulties in one show. I am seriously just losing my mind. I don't know what to say. I just really don't know what to say. I guess I can talk about some of the other topics because I don't think we're going to get to them tonight because I'm going to murder my computer while I wait for Chris and Joy to get back in the lobby here. Chris is now returned to our presence. Looks clean and crisp. Again, sometimes Zoom cooperates, sometimes Zoom does not cooperate. So
I don't know what happened with our internet.
It's you. It's gotta be me. It's gotta be me. It's gotta be me. It's just I live in the middle of nowhere and it doesn't help. So that's part of the problem. Where's Joey's camera? Joey, where are you, baby? There he is.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you. I can see Chris.
Goodness gracious. Okay, I think
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can hear
You guys
you.
are frozen. This is gonna.
JD, the big question is, can we hear you?
Hey, I can hear you guys. This is bad. Goodness gracious.
Darn it.
We're gonna get this
Are we
figured
still
out.
live?
We are still recording. We are still recording. So whether it's on Twitch or not, it's still recording. So the tape rolls on. Okay. I think we're okay. I'm gonna say we're okay. Knock on wood. All right, Chris, podcast. We're gonna post some stuff for your podcast so everybody can go follow and be up to date on Temple and Southeast Missouri State football. We're thankful.
It's on Apple, Spotify, Google, everywhere you could find a podcast. It's on at the Nest CFB, and so yeah,
Good.
college football. And I didn't want to have doing it out in the off season. Do like a couple based on the draft, and that's about it. But take off in the off season and then pick it up during college footballs.
Good.
And then my other podcast, which I've only done 1 episode for so far, it's music, marketing, like business, others, like anything in the world of sport that interests me is pretty much what I talk about there. But I haven't put a schedule to that one yet. But 1 episode's out, which is pretty good. And it's just me talking, solo podcast. And eventually I'll bring people on. But once I get my media moving, I have like a website and other stuff that I'm doing. So once everything is settled, I can get back to a schedule on that. So
Cool.
And you have a vlog.
Yeah.
yes, vlog on YouTube, which kind of like sisters with it's all connected. My website, chrislicameli.com, and then
I didn't know that.
I forgot to add that too. Yeah.
The personal brand.
Yes, and everything's at Chris Licameli. Changed everything to be all the same.
Beautiful.
That's probably
beautiful.
smart because I like make everything slightly different so that
Yes,
like,
I can tell JD is like the complete opposite. He's got as many underscores, numbers, and different combos as possible.
It's hilarious. And I'm not sure if he's listening right now, but this guy up in Flint, Michigan is starting a club. And like every so often he'll text me and he'll be like, yo, do you know the guy who like runs like the Great Lakes Team Handball Association? Oh yeah, it's JD. Like, hey, who's the guy who runs Ohio State? Oh yeah, that's also JD. Who's the guy that runs Dublin? JD. Yeah, so
I got a lot
It's like
going on.
What is at JKraken_D?
That is a reference
then,
to
like,
my glory days of Twitter.
I feel like you've got JD. I feel like you've got like 7 different names too.
I do have many names.
What's the D for?
What's the D? What's the J? That's usually question number 1. I don't usually give this information away, so I'm gonna make you guess. And if you guess correctly, I'll allow you to move on.
See, if I were originally seeing this, I'd think your last name was Kraken, but your last name's Orr.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Okay, so
If that's
the
correct.
Kraken story.
That's who you really are.
Kraken is my nickname from like high school, early college thing. I made a rap video. It's called Unleash the Kraken. It's called Unleash the Kraken. Go check it out on YouTube.
We've all been there, man.
Yep. So I tried to get on Tosh.0. Didn't work, obviously.
We've all been there.
But it's not bad. So, it is actually really bad. But, from a amateur high school production, I think we did pretty well. So that's kind of where that came from. So I was like trying to play on JD. So that's where J Kraken D.
I released one in high school, and it wouldn't.
What a shame.
Oh no, I probably released this junior year. Mine was very bad to the point where it was my first ever tweet, but it's deleted. The internet, the video's off the internet. There's only one kid from my high school that said he screen recorded it back in like 2010, and he still has a copy, and nobody else has a copy except for me. And it was so bad. Like I probably wouldn't have gotten into college.
Wow.
With this terrible video, to the point where it got like this is like 2,500 views. You're like, what is this? What's happening?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it got like 4,000 views in less than like a week because it got sent around to every single person in high school to the point where your rap name was Kraken.
Yeah.
JD, is that right?
Yep.
Mine was, I won't say what mine was, but what my rap name was, my like teachers would call me it in the classroom and in the hallway. And then teachers would like quote a line from this rap and then not like a vulgar line, just a casual line they would drop or a rhyme that I made. And then they would kind of just to let them know that
they knew.
Letting me know that they know that I know that they know now that they heard the whole thing, and it was bad. It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I made mine at my high school, so like we made it.
I deleted that after like a week. I deleted it off because it was senior year. It's just people signing it with like my rap name.
Yeah.
Oh, mine is literally sitting in my like bedroom on my like old school MacBook, just like rapping off like a notes app, like to a rat-a-tat beat.
Man, you need to listen to mine because I think you're gonna appreciate it a lot. So just type.
Are you gonna play it right now?
I could for the people.
You could do a live reaction.
Before we do that, Chris, I just like it's killing me. Because at the beginning of the show, you said that you've studied like basically just sports business. And I'm just curious, like what, in your opinion, like being a handball fan and being just like a very active individual within sports organizations, what do you think it'll take to make handball more relevant? Like even to the point of like the popularity of gymnastics. Like just real quick, and then we can do the.
Yeah. I think everything is. I think. On the side, if you look at gymnastics, which it's actually depends.
It's tough. It's tough, folks. It's tough to hear them.
And now there's like 14, and the since COVID now they've cut. William Mary College has cut their program. University of Minnesota cut their program. University of Iowa is just dropping in participation at the NCAA level, and it's because Title IX and in the 70s.
Internet
programs. Yeah. Once Title IX came, if you look at like other men's sports that were on the chopping block as wrestling, and wrestling is probably the biggest one you could compare it to. Lacrosse kind of, but they've got their niche in like the Northeast that like they won't really go anywhere, but wrestling's very similar in that it's an Olympic sport that's on the Olympic level. But they survived this, and they went on the defense in their marketing tactics, and the women's side did it as well, because not just Title IX, just budgets being cut, and they were very proactive, the men's side, and throughout the 90s, and just kept tanking from there were 100 programs were dropped in a 3-year span in the 90s. Yeah. And they weren't very proactive. we're going to survive. We're an Olympic sport. We provide our athletes to the Olympic team. That's how the men's Olympic team was provided through the NCAA. And it became it was too late kind of. And they're trying to just backpedal now. And now they're trying to create essentially a league. The only way the sport will survive at the men's gymnastics NCAA level, and this would be the last piece to talk.
Internet, why do you just plague me with your difficulties and lack of abilities? Ugh. Why, Internet? All right. You guys are
JD.
back.
Well, JD, this will be fine on Spotify. We'll be okay if we just we can just keep going. If it's recording on the.
It's recording, yeah, but I can't hear when it cuts out. I can't hear you guys. So everything that you guys have said, I haven't heard. So.
But it'll be on the Spotify, right?
No. Because that's recording.
I'm enjoying it though, Chris.
I know. That's why I'm really. That's why I'm really ticked. Because we just have this hidden conversation that I'm not a part of, and we can't record, and it's just internet.
Hey, JD, do you have any other devices in your home that are using internet that you can just disconnect?
I guarantee you, Kaylee's watching Hulu right now, and
that's definitely what it is.
So I'm back at 5 bars now. So I'm pretty strong. You guys are looking crisp. So.
Oh, this is very crisp. You should also tell her to probably turn off the Hulu.
Yeah, that would be nice, especially since she's probably asleep by now. So it's just running. We watch a lot of Forensic Files and Homicide Hunter. You guys probably aren't into big crime shows. I love that stuff, man. I'll talk to the cops at work all day about that. It just gets me jazzed up. I'm like, why are we not convicting more people? The evidence is right here. Sorry. I digress. The internet has me fuming right now. I'm like sweating right now. How
Yeah,
angry I am.
without you, man, we were having a great conversation about
Yeah,
sport.
you kind of messed us all up, JD.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe like some high level points of because I miss like
So
a lot of stuff from this show.
I guess I'll repeat it. So the what did you last hear me say, JD?
I literally haven't heard like from the last probably half hour. I haven't heard much.
The last half hour.
Yeah, so just like a couple key points here and there. So
Gotcha. So, Joey, do you want to ask your question again?
Yeah, so I basically asked Chris, like, because of his background in sports and his just education, what's it going to take to get handball to the point of like men's gymnastics popularity or just gymnastics popularity?
So yeah, you said gymnastics, and I went on to say, I guess men's gymnastics is not that popular at all anymore, and essentially since COVID, they're down to I think 13 or 14 NCAA men's programs at the NCAA level. When I was at Temple, there was 18, and then they cut the men's program at Temple my sophomore year, but I was on the club level. I was on the NCAA level. And then this year they cut William & Mary College men's and women's program. They cut Alaska women's program. They cut Iowa men's program, and they cut Minnesota men's program. So, but then also this year, Long Island University added a women's program. And so the men back in the 70s, there was like 350, 400 NCAA men's programs. And since then, now they're down to like 13. Title IX is a huge factor to it. And then when you have Title IX, you look at like wrestling, NCAA wrestling, which is not down to 13 programs. They when it comes on the chopping block, that program has been able to survive. And when you look at they were able to be up. I remember going back, I don't have it in front of me, but going back and looking in my like studies that they were proactive in their, once Title IX hit, they were very proactive in their marketing tactics and moving forward and trying to promote their sport and making sure that they weren't on the chopping block. Men's gymnastics was not. They were very reactive on the back end, thinking that we provide our athletes to the U.S. Olympic team, we'll be safe. And then kind of like it was too little too late. They were down to like 25 programs. And within a 3-year span in the 90s, like 100 programs were dropped. And it was just too far gone to be able to like save it. And to me, I think that sport survives outside of the NCAA, like men's rowing. Men's rowing is not an NCAA sport, and they have their own championships. Temple has a men's and women's rowing. Women's rowing is an NCAA sport, but crew is not an NCAA sport. And which means as a student athlete, you can gamble on men's rowing because it's not an NCAA sponsored sport. You can gamble on college handball because it's not an NCAA sponsored sport.
Listen up.
That's where I guess I see collegiate club handball is trying to do the same thing that men's gymnastics should transition to. And they're trying to provide the national team with their athletes through the club program, which is where men's gymnastics should be moving to. But men's gymnastics is provided funding from the U.S. Olympic team, like which I think club program is the same thing, but they're provided like funds to save their programs and provide their athletes to the Olympic team. So that's very similar in that aspect on the men's side. How do you get it more exposure is being welcoming to people like me just coming in. You know, like people who are curious about the sport. The biggest thing that happened to handball is pardon my take and Billy football and Big Cat saying that Jay Cutler. I've probably offended some people by saying that is the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing to happen to put handball on the map is getting somebody to bait that like Jay Cutler can just make the Olympic team if he wanted to.
Yep, I agree. That was huge. That was huge. And what you just said too about how men's gymnastics at the NCAA level got complacent, quite frankly, because they just it's an Olympic sport. Like we'll be fine. At least that's what it.
Yeah. It at the surface level, that's pretty much what it was, and they didn't. Where the women on the women's side, when you're looking at cutting programs, gymnastics is men or women is right there. The women on the women's side were able to market the sport and they changed their rules. They made it easier where the men they followed the FIG system, which is it's out of a 16 or is it a 15? Is it 12 good? If you watch it's out of a 10-0 at the men's level in gymnastics. In the collegiate side follows the Olympic scoring system. The women's side follows the 10-0 system, which when you get a 10-0, that's good. But if somebody got a 12.5, do you know if that's good? No, you have no idea. Yeah. It's terrible. It's very bad. Like you want to get 16s and 15s, like that's. But it's not very inclusive. It's not very inviting to like other people. So when they changed that system in like the 2000 Olympics, gymnastics changed their scoring system on the men's and women's side. But collegiately, women kept the 10-0. They decided to keep things more fan friendly. If you go to University of Utah, they sell out every home meet, 16,000 fans. It's the number one attended women's sport in the history of planet. Jeez. It's the number one attended women's sport ever. Is that the Utah gymnastics season, 16,000 fans, that's what they average. You won't find a women's sport that's more attended than
for gymnastics.
For gymnastics, yes, sells out.
Holy smokes.
So like you go to Alabama, they sell out 12,000 fans. You go to Georgia, they sell out 13,000 fans. You go to Florida, they sell out 10,000 fans.
How?
Marketing. Like you market your team, you get involved on campus. You bring in like in the Southeast, like Greek life is huge. In my last year at Southeast, I was able to do more of the marketing. I took over pretty much all the marketing. And I went out to Greek life, and we sold out. We didn't sell out. We were very close to selling out. We got like 82% capacity, which is the highest attendance since they started tracking attendance at a Southeast Missouri State gymnastics meet. And we had every single fraternity and sorority out there. We were tailgating in like 35-degree weather.
Was it a camper house that attended? How'd you do that?
No, it didn't do I went to every single when they had their Greek life meeting, their fraternity had their like meeting that week. I would go and attend, and I would bring 3 gymnasts with me, and I would say, introduce yourselves, and they would like talk about why you should bring him. And I'm like, hey, I've got this cleared. You guys will have these parking spots for tailgating. I reserve parking spots for them. I say, hey, get here at this time. I made like special signs for each fraternity and sorority, not sororities, they weren't allowed to have, but fraternities. And I went to sororities and spoke and brought the like 3 girls from the team. I do this like 3 times a week, and I would go to like a bunch of meetings, like whenever it was a home meet coming up, and we would pack out. And we had Greek night, which was Hawaiian shirt night, and it was like people came in Hawaiian shirts, and we had like 750 fans, and we were 1,000 seat capacity. And I sang the national anthem at that meet.
That is awesome.
And I forgot the words, and it was absolutely terrible.
This is like my dream. Like Chris literally just like, I am now going to do this when we return to normalcy. Like, I'm going to go door to door down 15th, and I'm just going to be that like old creepy guy, and they'll be like, hey, hoser, get off our freaking lawn, man. How
I got in was you got to get a contact for like which you can find the Greek council for each fraternity and sorority online. They're all public. They're like, their president, vice president, and then their treasurer, all that stuff's public. My senior internship, I created a database for like 400 or like almost 1,000 fraternities and sororities in the Southeast. Okay. Where I worked was Flip Fest for my senior internship, and we would host sisterhood retreats at our facility in the off season, because we had a ropes course, we had cabins, and we had an empty warehouse that we had like all the gymnastics equipment was sold for the off season. We get new stuff they got new stuff every year, and we had a basketball like court.
Yep.
And and we would bring in sisterhood retreats, and I created this massive database for them, and every single Greek council contact that was in every single major fraternity or every single major sorority in the southeastern part of the United States, and create this like Excel spreadsheet database. So all that stuff's public. You can get their email. Most of the time, it's like president at Clemson Phi Kappa Alpha Delta.com. You know what I mean? So like that president keeps the same email, which is amazing. And so when they graduate, the president still has the same email. So like majority, your database will never be outdated.
What an idea.
So you can do that at OSU. I guarantee you all their stuff's public. And you just reach out. Hey, when's your next meeting? And you just show up. Hey, just want to speak like 5 minutes before it starts. And then you could probably just recruit people for handball. And next thing you know, you have to have like tryouts and cut people for OSU.
You're my hero, dude. You're like, dude. This. I'm not sure if this will upset you or just make you laugh, but the USA residency program for handball was at Auburn University, right?
Yeah.
Like they couldn't.
What do you mean the USA? Oh, yes. I think I looked this up when I was looking at. We explained what the USA resident. I remember seeing something about handball at Auburn.
Yeah, basically. So like Team USA were just like they were like headquartered.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I did see that. Yes.
Bro, they couldn't pay people to just show up for the national team. Like they had 5 guys on the national team. Like
that's insane. All you needed to do is walk down frat row on like Wednesday night. You need to walk down Old Row. You could have done it in Alabama too. You could probably gotten guys just walk down, say, knock on the door. Hey, when's your next meeting? I just want to talk for 5 minutes. Somebody here can go to the Olympics.
Yes. Just make an all frat Olympic team.
Even that, like even just saying that, they're like, oh, dang. All I had to do was like, hey, we're going to get you guys to be able to tailgate for gymnastics. And they're like, say less.
Say less.
You're a genius, Chris. Holy smokes.
This is glorious. Like, so this is way cheaper than me paying. So, Chris, to back it up. So if we hosted nationals this year, I was going to pay. I made a deal with this frat at Ohio State that if they fielded a team and they won college nationals, I would pay them $5,000. And
you say what?
If
you would pay them what?
$5,000.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
And you said that to a frat, or you said it to all the frats?
There's one specific frat. I didn't have any contacts. I don't know. I'm not a frat guy, so I don't know the frat system, which sounds like both of you guys do. So that's where I need
so at Temple we had like 2% Greek life. So Greek life was not a thing at Temple, but studying the like marketing tactics of your like Alabama, which I was very close with that Alabama coaching staff, and studying Georgia and how they all did it in the SEC for gymnastics, because SEC gymnastics, they sell out. You have your average attendance in your Alabama, Georgia, Florida is over 10,000. So like, how do you do it? And their biggest thing is connecting with Greek life. And that was like their number one thing, and meeting with Greek life consistently and building the relationship and like letting them know that they matter to you. And like so that Greek night, we had Hawaiian shirt night, and we gave out free koozies. And on the koozies was like, it was like
women's gymnastics.
It was like an association with like Flip Cup, or like flipping gymnastics and Flip Cup or something like that. Or when we were going to do that, we just had SEMO gymnastics on it. We were going to do one, and we were told we couldn't do like some of the Flip Cup. But yeah, we gave out koozies, and it was Hawaiian shirt night, and like free koozies to like fraternity brothers.
It's gold. It's gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So like going in and just going door to door and say, they already have to do sports, intramurals and stuff, you know. They play, like they're athletic enough for something like that. And a bunch of them probably played throughout high school, and that's all you need.
Exactly. They probably played it in gym class, but B, like, you know, it's a mix of.
Probably played baseball and basketball, or like JV at least.
It should be the biggest, like, oh yeah, you're a genius, Chris. You are an absolute.
All right. Well, now I have a whole new marketing campaign that I'm going to tap into. So this is good. This is good. This is why we have these conversations.
Let me know when everything opens up, because I live on 16th. So when I go on my jog, I jog down Pratt Row every day.
Yep. That's gracious.
Chris, I only got a couple more questions for you. And
Go for it.
Dude, thank you so much for bearing with us. Like, I've thoroughly enjoyed every second of this. Seriously.
I appreciate it. I'm enjoying the conversation.
You're a rock star. And you're playing with JD's team, right? Like, you're going to be.
He's on the Armada.
Yes. But JD said he's playing with the Dublin Drunks this weekend, but he's on his Twitter. He says he's the goalie and the coach for Columbus Armada. So I
gotta update the Twitters.
Well, regardless, I hope I run into you soon.
For sure.
Game with Detroit.
I honestly thought when he said we're playing a game, I was going to ask, are we playing Detroit? That when you asked if I asked who we're playing, and he told us the Dublin Drunks.
Chris, I think you could probably make a 1-game contract with the Drunks to play in the game in Detroit coming up. So.
Ooh.
Thunderdome.
I don't have a contract. I'm a free agent. I don't have a contract with anyone. So.
Oh, it's true. Technically, yeah. Chris is technically unsigned. So.
Yes.
Talk with your agent.
I do. I'm representing myself. I always represent myself.
All right. Smart man.
I don't like to. I negotiate my own contracts when I buy houses. I everything by myself.
Good. It's good.
Smart
it's a good lesson to live by.
Keep the extra percentage.
We don't need the middleman. Exactly.
Even though my sister is getting a real estate license right now, just found out yesterday.
It's a good business to be in for a nice little chunk of change there.
But what I must say is, I did see when I was doing the research on Columbus Armada, there was a whole signing day. There was the whole announcement. It was right outside the tennis courts. It looked like. Yep.
That was our combine day. I had Joey's doing everything I wanted to do, but he's making it look actually legit. I wanted us to film a combine day, and then I was gonna have him sign after, and we are gonna time it up so it all looked like.
So that's official. What I wanted to do. We were gonna that, but I was gonna vlog the entire handball tournament in Jersey.
Yeah, which would have been perfect. So another letdown of this whole COVID business, but.
Yeah. If JD doesn't take you to Detroit for the games, then you just play with Detroit. How about that? So regardless, I want to meet you and I want to get you out there and
I'm down.
Dude, that's the
I'm down. Dang, another 10 minutes left.
These Zooms, man. This is literally. I'm titling this episode "The Internet in Columbus Sucks." So that's what I'm.
I don't think it's gonna drive many listeners. Then they're gonna think the show is just gonna be glitchy.
Well, true. That's probably This is why you're a marketing guy and I'm just some weird engineer guy. All right, good point.
What was the last question you were asking? Oh, the contract stuff. I heard somebody negotiated for a pizza after the games or something.
Yes. Yep.
So we'll talk offline, but
formalize, official document we'll sign.
All
goes into our filing cabinet. Yep.
Hey, Chris, whatever JD offers you, I'll double it.
Double it.
Ooh. Fighting words here.
I wouldn't do that to my.
Stealing my players left and right.
He hasn't even seen me throw a ball yet.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
I haven't even seen myself throw an inflated ball, so I don't know what that's going to look like.
Confidence, man.
Probably lighter than my deflated balls. I'm Tom Brady of handball out here.
I was very close to months ago, before the pandemic. I was about to buy my first handball on Amazon, and I didn't pull the trigger.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't, because it would have been way more expensive if you just buy it off of me or Joey or go to the Father's Day sale of Select. So, yeah.
I'll do that after this.
Yes, that's the way to do it.
Giving handballs away.
Yeah.
Select is just trying to get.
Literally.
Fired.
It's $5 a ball for some of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to pay $25 for a ball.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I thought, okay, that's actually not bad.
But now that I say that, I think it was probably a size 1 ball.
That is, which is not what you want. It's a
it was
stress
the women's ball. I think the others were closer to 45 or 50, the real pro balls.
Chris, what are your goals for professionally, just as a professional human being, and then just for handball? You just want to play for fun? Do you want to still go for Tokyo 2021, Paris 2024?
Man. So I guess I'll talk handball. And so I love to experience just new sports I've always wanted to play. So like, and when I end up picking them up, I obviously want to continue playing handball. Like most recently, like my entire childhood, my mom had grown up. She was like, my mom said her biggest regret in life is never learning how to surf. She grew up on a lake. I grew up on Long Island. My high school is on the bay. My high school is on the water. Like football practice was on the docks. Like you'd see the dock was on the water. So like I grew up like on the water. So I like, sorry, Mishi's distracted me there. I got sidetracked.
My phone died, so I don't see the Twitch chat
he's single
anymore.
too.
You're good. So I ended up learning to surf like a month ago when I went down to Orlando to visit my buddy Blaze. We drove out to Cocoa Beach, is the number one beginner surf spot, ranked by Red Bull. It's where Kelly Slater, that's the only surfer anyone knows. That's where he learned to surf. That's where he's from. So I learned to surf there, and like a longboard, and it was awesome. And like I want to surf more, and so like I just like trying new sports that I had never done. So that's where handball falls in. Like the curling, like I'd totally go curling again. But I want to play competitively. I don't know the last time I've competed in like a competitive like sporting atmosphere.
Thursday night.
Tomorrow on Thursday night, it would be the first time I've probably like outside of like a pickup game, like in a team sport, man. Because gymnastics is individual. It had to have been like when I played like an organized team sport. It had to have been when I played like in high school. So like everything else has been like individually, like I've competed. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've done that. So like I'm looking forward to that, you know. And then professionally, I haven't really talked about like my professional goals on like a public platform.
If you don't want to disclose, we're not trying to pry. Just
no,
curious.
yeah. Just because like I do like to keep like I used to say my public stuff out there, but
You once wanted to be a professional rapper, and that did not go well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I guess on the most basic term, I want to own real estate and then have passive income and then just be able to do whatever I want, whether it be like coach gymnastics and never have to worry about how much I make in that income, or be able to go coach like a D3 program and just like what Jim Calhoun's doing. He's like coaching like a D3 school, but he's like got all the money in the world. So he just can build a program from like, they started a program from nothing and he's building it up. Like I want to be able to have like enough passive income where I can just manage from a distance wherever I am in the country or the world and be able to do whatever I want, whether it be coach gymnastics, whether it be like start a business, or because there's so many things I want to do. There's not just like one thing. We could just go to Europe and just like play in a handball tournament, you know, or just like go to Los Angeles and San Diego and just surf, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be able to just go do it and not have to worry about the finances. So the current goal is to grow enough in passive income and
cool.
and be able to do what I want, you know?
I tell you what, whatever it is, Chris, just from talking to you for the past hour and a half, like I have no doubt you're gonna do it. You're a smart dude, no doubt about it. You're driven, you're passionate.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This has been like super inspiring, super fun to talk.
Appreciate it.
I'm excited to see you crush it. And then if JD or Max Littman aren't smart enough to pick you up, then I'll pick you up as a player and as a marketing director.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. JD, do you have any closing remarks?
I just want to apologize for the technical difficulties. Obviously, I really am frustrated that we've missed a lot of good conversation between the two of you guys. That is not going to be captured on this episode, but I talked to Chris probably at least on a weekly basis now. So, but yeah, just thank you for coming on the show. I know it was very last minute. It was good though. We had a good. There's still a lot of good points of it. So, and you gave me a lot of great ideas for what's to come. So that's the key part. That's why I like doing this, because we get people with a new perspective on our problem, and we're just beating our head against the wall. But somebody like you comes in with like, well, hey, well, what about this? And it's like, oh, well, that turns on a couple light bulbs here, and then now it's up to Joey and I to go, break down some walls. So.
For sure. Oh, and boxing. That was the other new sport that I started this year too. So 3 new sports this year.
Where are you boxing at?
My basement.
Okay, so
my roommate
go ahead.
is an amateur boxer, and he boxes on the OSU clubbing team. OSU club team, and then he boxes in Brooklyn. So we went to high school together, and we ended up actually moving here together at the same time. So it just happened to work.
Yeah.
He played for spring ball under Urban Meyer for 1 year for the football team he walked on. And now he's boxing. So
bring him to handball.
I don't know if he shattered his entire leg in his last semi-pro football game. So I don't know if he's.
Jeez.
So we built a gym in quarantine, and we got a full blown rubber floor boxing gym in the basement. So
whoa,
boxing, surfing, handball is all new sports I started in 2020. So
good. Well, awesome. We're right at a minute left. I feel bad cutting you off here, but this has been fantastic. A good, solid show all around, and we're definitely going to talk more with Chris later. So
yeah, for sure. You can find any of the vlogs of my past travel. I do a lot of just sport travel, vlog stuff. That's where my niche, I love it, is just Chris Licameli on YouTube, and I put smaller clips on it on Instagram too. So
cool.
Instagram, YouTube are my 2 most active, and Facebook too. So
I'll dump everything on there. Or at least I'll
appreciate
give you a
it.
shout out. So cool.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
As always, everybody, keep shooting, shooters. All right, that's the end of the show there.
Is it cut off?